I wonder if I would felt differently about MaXXXine if I had saw that first. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, welcome for your first visit with me. So yesterday I did a double feature and I saw Longlegs and MaXXXine. Please let me know in the comment section. Do you mind if I compilate? That sounds dirty. Do you mind if I talk about all the movies and shows I've watched in one video, or would you like them split up? Let's talk about MaXXXine. I mentioned before in my reaction to the MaXXXine trailer that I saw X, wasn't the hugest fan of it, and I never saw Pearl. Leading up to MaXXXine coming out, I did see Pearl. Now, I liked Pearl more than X. Pearl is first when it comes to chronological order in the story's timeline. Pearl is about a woman who is living on a farm with her parents. One is basically can't move, can't talk, in a wheelchair. That's her father. And then her mother's very domineering, kind of like, this isn't the life I wanted either. But Pearl's really thinking about her feelings. She doesn't want to end up like her mother. She wants to escape the farm life. She thinks she's a star. She thinks she's meant for something better. Long story short, Pearl does all these terrible, wicked things because she wants nothing standing in her way. Goes to the audition, doesn't get it. And by the time Howard comes home, he comes home to a household full of death and a wife that is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Decades later, they're still together on this farmland. So the adult film crew is renting out the place because they're going to make like this great movie there. Meanwhile, Pearl is an older woman now, and she still sees something special in her. And because MaXXXine looks so much like a young version of Pearl, she wants to be her. She wants to get in those positions sexually, get that feeling again. Long story short, a lot of death happens. Pearl cycle, people are dying, and Howard is trying to clear up the witnesses, clear up the mess himself. At the end, MaXXXine gets away. She's the only survivor of what happened in X. MaXXXine, when it comes to like little Easter eggs from the previous movies, from X and from Pearl, super fun. The drugs that are in the ceramic goose in her dressing room, dance the little girl is doing in the beginning of who's supposed to be a young MaXXXine is basically the dance that Pearl did from the Pearl movie, the Norman Bates kind of thing. Back in the movie X, she was hyping herself up, that saying, I'm a sex symbol. You're a sex symbol, girl. You got this. Go be sexy. But in MaXXXine, she's like, you're a star. You're more than a sex symbol now. You're a star. Because she wants to be an actress. She wants to get into this role for the sequel to The Puritan. Now, when it comes down to it, MaXXXine, how did I like it? I was feeling it. I was feeling it. The Night Stalker was happening around the same time. And then there's deaths happening. And the detectives are like, they're trying to be like the Night Stalker, but we know it's not the Night Stalker. There's someone else. And MaXXXine, your friends are getting killed. What's going on? What do you know? She's like, I don't talk to the cops because she didn't tell anybody what happened when she escaped X. She was just moving on business as usual. That just made me stronger. And I want to get out of that stuff and get onto a proper set. I want to be a proper actress. I'm working hard. I don't remember the quote, I do not have to settle for a life that I don't want, something like that, right? And she's gotten through too much and come too far to not see this movie, The Puritan, all the way through. Mia Goth can act. She, like, whoever Mia Goth portrays in a movie, I believe she's that person. Number one. Number two, Kevin Bacon's character, he's like a private eye. He was so annoying to me. And what happens to him, I was like, so halfway through the movie, more than halfway through the movie, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling MaXXXine. I think I will have to put MaXXXine above Pearl and above X. All right, here we go. This is easily becoming like a B plus kind of movie. But a third act, I was just like thinking, okay, who's the killer? Because I like to, deduce and deduct. I'm checking off who the killer could be, right? I think of one person the killer could be, and I'm like, please God, no, don't do it. And they did it. Can I tell you how much the rating of this movie dropped? I was giggling, I was squirming, I was like trying to keep it together. A part of me was like, time to go, but another part of me was like, what's there, 20 minutes left? And that's the thing about these movies. X, I yeeted myself out and had to finish later. Pearl, I yeeted myself out and had to finish later. Both of those I saw at home. I enjoyed the movie up until that part. And the logic was not there. It was ridiculous. And the acting. It was painful. Because it was hilarious. That movie was easily going to be like a BB plus. That was a good time. I'll probably watch it again, smiley face. No. Everyone was really good. Everything was really good. And it was just a story. It was a continuation of a story set in a different era with Maxine having a certain goal in mind. These three movies do make me think of Sigmund Freud's human psyche mindset of the id, superego, and ego. And that is really interesting to me. The id is just based on instincts and desires, right? The superego thinks more about the morals, the rules, and like what you should and should not do. And then the ego is the part in between that, is aware of those desires and stuff that they have, but also the ramifications and wants to blend them or work with both of them to have a satisfying mindset. So in that instance, the id being based on desires and needs, I think that's Pearl, young Pearl, right? Old Pearl too. And then the super ego who knows the societal rules and morals and stuff like that, that is Maxine from X. That's Maxine from 1979. She knows what the morals are. Even though she's in the adult film industry, she knows what morals are, societal things like what you should and should not do. And then you have Maxine from the 1980s. She's the ego. She's the one who has both the desire for something, but understanding of societal norms and morals in order to like get it together. That's why at one point in the movie, I believe, even though she's like, gimme, 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 mine, 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 this is my movie. She has the conscious moment where she's like, oh, I should help. Hopefully that's not a spoil. As a trilogy in a whole, I understand what they were doing. I believe I understand what they were doing, and I can appreciate the storytelling. The acting is good. The way it looks is great. All that stuff is good. Maybe it's not 100% my kind of movie. However, that doesn't make it a bad movie. But having said that, what brings me to make the rating below a B is because all three movies I wanted to eject and finish it later. The only reason I finished MaXXXine is because I was in the theater watching it. So having said that, I'm going to give it a C. Yeah, I'm going to give it a C. If you saw MaXXXine, please let me know what you think. Which one do you like out of the trilogy? Which one's your top number one? If I had to come back and watch any of these movies again, it would probably be MaXXXine. Longlegs. I did see this trailer really late. I was curious. I was interested. I love Hannibal. Silence of the Lambs very much. 7, good movie. Disturbing, but very good. Taking Lives, love that movie. I've seen that many times. So I went into this movie ready for a certain experience. Now, if you've been with me for a while, anything devilish, possessionish, anything like that freaks the hell out of me. And this year, ever since Late Night with the Devil, I see a theme. And no. So Longlegs is about Lee Harker. She is a newly recruited FBI agent who is just like canvassing the neighborhood looking for information about a killer. And, her partner's like, let's go knock on doors. You can stand back. I'll go ahead in. But she gets this insight. She gets this little vibe. She's like, the killer's in there. The FBI agents on their higher ups, they have this murderer who they believe are killing families. However, they're not touching them. It looks like the family do it to themselves, but there's evidence that shows that there's an outsider part of it. So they're like, how is this happening? So let's bring in this recruit who seems to be psychic, has great intuition. Let's give her the evidence. Let's get her on board and see what she can figure out. Lee Harker's character, played by Micah Monroe, I hope I'm saying her name right. She's really intense. She's really good in this. Blair Underwood as her superior is good in this. Nicolas Cage as Longlegs. All this evidence starts making sense to her. She's decoding things. They're figuring out where to look next for the next clue. The clue's leading to someone in a psychiatric ward. The clue is leading to this, that, another. Now, there's all these things that develop along the way. And in the end, this movie messed me up. Where should we start? Acting's great. Everyone's great. Nicolas Cage as Longlegs. Holy, he was so scary. He made me so uncomfortable. And it's so weird to see his cageisms flipped around to be freaking scary. Like the cageisms that normally make us laugh and smile turned into the personality and characteristics of a serial killer. There were times he was on the screen. You could see his face, could not see his face. Just him there, his physical presence, his voice and everything, I looked away. I was looking to the left of the screen. I was looking to the right of the screen. I was just like, I can't look at him because he freaked me the freak out. Good job. This movie, if anything, was effective. The sound in this movie had me both on guard and unbalanced. There are moments that I'm just waiting for something to come around the corner. They're like holding on a shot of the two FBI agents coming in, and they're just holding it and slowly tracking it to nothing, to the outside. I'm like, who is out there? There's so many moments I'm like, someone's in the dark, someone's around the corner, someone's behind them. A while there, that's just a feeling. But then if you're not paying attention, what is that shadowy figure? There's someone behind that car. There's someone walking in that room. It makes you so paranoid. And just hearing people breathing. I was just like, Jesus, do you want my inhaler? Are you okay? Because the sound was just so intense. And when I tell you there's no levity, I think I chuckled at one little joke. The whole time I was going through with this one. I couldn't wait for it to be over. I was like, I gotta get to church tomorrow because I don't like that stuff. I don't like that. No, that's not for me. So let's talk about some things that could be a topic for discussion, debate, or a con. Okay, was it a slow burn? I like slow burn, so I didn't mind it. I can totally understand if someone believes that it was a slow burn. I totally get that. The twist at the end in the third act, it tricked me. Because I do like to deduce, I do like to wonder who the killer is in these kind of horror movies, thrillers, all that stuff. I do want to know. For a fleeting second, I thought, what if? But with the way the story is playing out, and maybe because I was so off balance by everything, I was like, nah. And then when the twist happened, I was like, oh yeah. There were a few moments where, what would you call it, where it was, it's just like you feel like you have an understanding of what's probably going to happen, you know? For instance, the way they made Longlegs, Nicolas Cage's character, look, like with their prosthetics and stuff like that. About halfway through, I was like, there's no real need to make him look like this. There's got to be a reason for them to make him look like this, not just to be scary. I was like, oh, that's why. I knew that was coming because there's a reason. So when the twist happens in the third act, knew it was coming, but I didn't mind it. If I could give it like a real honest rating, it would be get your ass to church. That would be my rating. But if we're going to do something more conventional, I'm going to give it a B+. It's really a good movie. It's really a good movie. It's worth watching if you're not like a scaredy cat like me, to be honest. I'm totally satisfied giving it a B+. I do not see myself watching this again. I was disturbed. All right, that's my review for Longlegs. What did you think about it? What did you think of Nicolas Cage? Thanks for watching, and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to come back and see what else I get into. Farewell.